Thank you for using the Tunkia TD1850 TD1855 Multi-function Calibrator. We hope this video provides you with a clear and convenient understanding of the product's operation. One. Unboxing and appearance inspection. Open the packaging box. Remove the TD1855 and accessories. Check for any appearance defects on the device and accessories. 2. Verify packing list. Take out the packing list. Use the packing list to check if the accessories are complete. 3. Product introduction. Front panel introduction. Rear panel introduction. Side panel introduction. After powering on, check if the screen is functioning normally. The TD1850 operation interface is slightly different. Operation is basically the same. 4. Output method introduction. Direct output. Percentage output. Rotary knob output. Adjust box output optional. Software output optional. Five. Typical applications. If the device's display screen is not lit, the fan is not turning, or the switch indicator light is off upon startup, please immediately disconnect the power. Open the fuse holder and check if the fuse has blown. Part 1. Analog AC/DC voltage calibration. Connect the remote control adjustment box. When using the remote control adjustment box, first switch the digital adjustment to analog adjustment, then rotate the knob to the far left, which sets the voltage potentiometer of the box to 0. TD1850 supports a remote control adjustment box with 2 knobs. Select the AC/DC voltage range of the meter under test. Switch the TD1855 to the corresponding AC/DC voltage output. Set the range to manual mode. Switch digital adjustment to analog adjustment. Connect the TD1855 to the meter under test correctly. Use the box to output the corresponding calibration point voltages of 1 volt, 5 volt, and 10 volts. During the output, Use the box for coarse adjustment to bring the value close to the target value, then fine-tune the voltage to approach the calibration value. Record the actual value and the reading of DUT at these points. After testing, rotate the box knobs to the far left to set it to 0, then turn off the instrument. Substitute the actual output voltage of the TD1855, the reading of DUT, and the range value into the error calculation formula. Calculate the errors for each calibration point, and record them in the report. During output, if the instrument displays voltage output protection, please check if the output terminal wiring is correct. Check if the load is too large or damaged. And after troubleshooting, press the Reset Protection button. Part 2. Analog AC-DC Current Calibration. Select the ACL-DC current range of the meter under test. Switch the TD1855 to the corresponding ACL-DC current output interface. Set the range to manual mode. Switch digital adjustment to analog adjustment. Connect the TD1855 to the analog meter correctly. Output the corresponding calibration point currents of 10 mA, 50 mA, and 100 mA. During the output, first, use the box for coarse adjustment, then fine-tune the voltage to approach the calibration value. Record the actual value and the reading of the DUT. After testing, rotate the box knobs to the far left to set it to 0, then turn off the instrument. Substitute the actual output current, the reading of DUT, and the range and into the error calculation formula. Calculate the errors for each calibration point, and record. During output, if the instrument displays current output protection, first check if the fuse has blown. Then check if the output terminal wiring is correct, and check if the load is too large or damaged. And after troubleshooting, press the Reset Protection button. Part 3. Analog Resistance Calibration. Select the resistance range of the meter under test. Switch the TD1855 to the corresponding resistance output interface. Connect the TD1855 to the meter under test correctly. When setting the calibration point to 100 ohms, first direct output 90 ohms. Then move the cursor to the right to the unit's place. Use the rotary knob for fine adjustment. Continue moving the cursor to the right to the first decimal place. Use the rotary knob for fine adjustment. Move the cursor to the second decimal place to the right and adjust. Continue adjusting until it reaches the value close to 100 ohm. Use the same method to output 500 ohms and 1000 ohms. Record the actual value and the reading of the DUT. Substitute them in the error calculation formula. Calculate the errors for each calibration point and record them in the report. If the resistance output exceeds the allowable current during the process, the instrument will display resistance over load protection. After troubleshooting, press to restore normal operation. If there is incorrect wiring during the output, the instrument will display resistance reverse connection protection. Correct the output terminal wiring to restore normal operation. Part 4. Digital Multimeter AC/DC Voltage Calibration. Select the AC/DC voltage range of the DUT. Switch the TD1855 to the corresponding AC/DC voltage output. Set the range to automatic range. And direct output the value. Connect the TD1855 to the DUT correctly. Directly output the corresponding calibration point voltage. Record the actual value and the reading of the DUT. To ensure safety, when the output voltage exceeds preset limits, the device enters a standby output state. At this time, there is no output from the device terminals. Once confirmed, click the Output On button, and the device will output the corresponding direct value. Users can choose to enable or disable this function in the System menu interface. If the device needs to support negative output, the black and red terminals can be swapped to achieve this. The TD1860, TD1870, and TD1880 models in this series all support negative output. After testing, press the zeroing button to set the output to 0, then turn it off. Substitute the actual output voltage and the reading of the DUT into the error calculation formula. Calculate the errors for each calibration point and record them in the report. Part 5. Digital Multimeter AC/DC Current Calibration. Select the AC/DC current range of the DUT. Switch the TD1855 to the AC/DC current output. Set the range to automatic range. Connect the TD1855 to the DUT correctly. Directly output the corresponding calibration point current. Record the actual value and the reading of the DUT. After testing, press the zeroing button to set the output to 0, then turn it off. Substitute the actual output current and the reading of the DUT into the error calculation formula. Calculate the errors for each calibration point and record them in the report. Part 6. Digital Multimeter Resistance Calibration. Select the resistance range of the DUT. Switch the TD1855 to the resistance output. Set the range to automatic range. Connect the TD1855 to the DUT correctly. Directly output the corresponding calibration point resistance. Record the actual value and the reading of the DUT. Then substitute them into the error calculation formula. Calculate the errors for each calibration point and record them. When testing resistances above 10 megohm, to ensure measurement accuracy, it is generally necessary to use the dedicated high-resistance cable. Part 7. Pulse Frequency Output Function. Connect the pulse output terminal to the standard frequency meter measurement terminal using a B and C cable. Switch the TD1855 main interface output mode to FN mode. Directly output 50 Hz, 400 Hz. There are two types of pulse frequencies. AC sine wave fundamental frequency 45 Hz tilde 1.1 kHz. Square wave pulse frequency 1 Hz to 2 MHz, 0 to 5 volts. Part 8. Single-phase power output function. Switch the TD1855 output mode to ACP-QS mode, based on the calibration points. First, adjust the TD1855's voltage output according to the voltage and current nameplate parameters of the DUT. Then, calculate the current value based on the power calibration point and output the current. Simultaneously, adjust the voltage and current output frequency and phase angle on the TD1855 according to user requirements. Part 9. Transmitter Calibration. Optional function. Based on the type of the transmitter under test, switch the output type to DC UIT DC transmitter calibration mode. Click L and H to set the upper and lower limits of the primary input and secondary output values of the transmitter. Correctly connect the transmitter to the TD1855. Based on the transmitter's limits, the TD1855 outputs the corresponding calibration points. Read and record the standard source output value and the standard source electrical parameter measurement reading. Use the relevant calculation formula to calculate the transmitter's error. After testing, press the zeroing button to set the output to 0. Then turn off the instrument. Part 10. Clamp meter calibration. Optional function. Select the current range to be calibrated for the clamp meter. Connect the clamp coil and TD1855 as shown in the diagram. Then clamp the clamp meter onto the corresponding coil. Based on the type of clamp meter under test, switch TD1855 to AC/IAC current mode. Based on the turns in the clamp coil, 50 turns. Directly output the corresponding calibration point current. Record the actual values and the reading from the clamp meter. After testing, press the zeroing button to set the output to 0. Then turn off the instrument. Substitute the output current actual value and the clamp meter's reading into the error calculation formula. Calculate the error for each calibration point and record it in the calibration report.